Ready to go?
First day working out in like 3 weeks, and I'm actually still sore from running and racquetball already.
It's doing leg lifts, and I started to feel kind of dizzy.
Alright, ready, set, go.
I don't know if you noticed, but on our vacation, we didn't exercise really at all. And we went nuts on eating.
We exercise our brains. That's about it.
It was like buffets, desserts, and in between desserts, ice cream, smoothies, which was really fun. But like all the running a marathon, all the working out we did before going on this trip, you realize you can like undo it in a heartbeat. It can disappear so fast. So I'm glad we got back into it today, but ugh, it's tough. Yesterday during our business meeting, one of the discussion points was when the heck are we going to use all these free Chick-fil-A meals? Because it's breakfast this month. And it was actually Cammie's idea. She said, maybe we should go today to breakfast and share what we learned and experienced in Israel with the kids before too much time passes that we forget. And I thought that was a great idea because I really want to share with them, but I have like such low energy to like report details and news and relive experiences, at least in like comprehensive ways. I'm kind of like, just why don't they just watch the vlogs? So I'm really glad that she came up with that idea. So that's what we're off to go do right now. G46. Oh. B10. N44. We got invited to play Chick-fil-A bingo. Tempting.
My mom and dad are gone, and I'm making a dinner that is Korean that my grandma taught all of us. It's called kimbap, which kim is seaweed, bop is rice, and we add egg to it, but you can add cucumber. My grandma sometimes adds spam and like other meat and pickles. So that's what we're having for dinner, and then we're going to Seven's baseball game. So thanks for coming along with us.
Yeah. We just ate some amazing burgers and french fries. I am so excited to be on a date with this girl. I was looking forward to it like all afternoon, and I was getting like butterflies in my stomach because I was like excited to be with you. On that note, it is time for Q&A.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother.
Every time I post a Q&A like picture asking for people to post their questions, I'm never sure if we're gonna get any questions. And then when I post a specific topic, I'm especially not sure if we're gonna get any questions. Today's topic was the Holy Land and our trip there, and we got a lot of questions, so I'm actually really excited about that. I kind of feel like we've been bad vloggers for the last 3 weeks. I would call what we've been doing like survival vlogging. It's like barely keeping up, barely filming, barely editing, which isn't entirely true because I was a step ahead on editing, but I filmed in a unique way where I didn't have to edit as much.
This guy like worked his butt off for these films. I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I don't feel that way at all.
Well, there was like no forethought. Usually I'm used to like planning these episodes, and I like dialoguing with them. Like, I feel like we haven't touched comments, which I kind of feel bad about.
I see that, but even bringing the camera to Israel and editing while there, I think is a huge deal. And I think,
you know what? I'll receive that. I've missed dialoguing and questions, and even, we didn't even talk about this. Heather Q had a baby.
Woo!
What? All-star commenter on Fight for Together. You guys know her as Heather Q. We know her as Heather Q. We're so happy for you. Okay, so all of today's questions are about our travels to the Holy Land. We've been there 3 times, and it's been really fun for us. I am Lisa Edwards asked, did you take your Bible with you as you toured, and what version do you use?
Yes, we took our Bible and we use NIV, but we've been told that New King James Version is the best version if you want the closest to the Hebrew language.
I don't trust any of the versions, and I actually just got a Hebrew Bible, which I started using, and I can already read like 1 word out of it.
Like,
so.
shh, and
Adam and Joy plus 7 says, I have 2 questions if that's okay. Well, it depends on the questions. Let's see. What is the most important lesson that you have learned from the women in the Bible? And how should mothers, wives, and husbands apply this to our lives in modern society?
I think I took away realizing how valuable women are, but even more specifically how valuable women in the Bible are. How I was taught that was that they had these characteristics about them that were very unique to them, and that was they knew a lot of things that other people didn't know, so they had a lot of intuition. And then the second thing was that they really valued their inheritance, and when it was even to the point of when it was taken away from them, they did above and beyond things to get it back.
The most valuable lesson for me, piggybacking on what Cammie said, was we studied the story of Tamar, which was Judah, who's one of the 12 tribes, his daughter-in-law. And there's this crazy story in the Bible, like you should read it. It's somewhere in the Bible, like right ding. In this story, we've already talked about this, but she was like a prostitute to her father and like tricked him and all this weird stuff. And I read this growing up in like a Christian culture and I would be like, oh, that's probably about like why you shouldn't be a prostitute. And that's not at all what the story is about. Prostitution was more of a normal thing in biblical culture. Certain degrees of promiscuous sex, and not that it's endorsing that or saying that that's okay, but also the point of the story isn't saying that that's not okay. And I can't even get the point of the story because I'm so caught up in like my morality.
We were taught, which really like hit me really hard, is unless you were living in those times under the conditions that they were living under, whether cultural, religious, physical, you have no business to judge those people. Okay, that's really distracting. And that really hit me because I think it was easy for me to take these stories and just like shove them into like my cultural lens. And I don't think that works. I don't think you learn about the story very well when you do that.
For me, tying it into modern day life, I wonder who are those people that I'm judging right now and I'm not able to see God's bigger plan and the things that he cares about, because I'm so caught up in these microscopic details, be like, oh, you're a prostitute? Who am I to judge? So I want to see people the way God sees people. Super Marlin 30 asks, did you see your girls change from this trip? Yeah, I did. One of our daughters shared that she went into the trip with a bad attitude, and she realized that halfway through, and once she started changing her attitude, she enjoyed the trip better. I also saw them branch out socially and meeting new people on the trip.
Yeah.
We gotta keep it moving here.
Okay, you're the one.
Okay, but like we have like
Mariah Jordan asks, you're dripping.
Duh.
Mariah Jordan asks, my husband wants to know how you all felt about seeing officials openly carrying weapons. He noticed you would pan to them in the vlog.
Oh, you noticed that, did you?
I didn't feel weird about it. I mean, it was a little bit weird, but I actually think our culture is a little bit weird with not having guns around.
I loved it. I love the fact that there's guns because, like Cami says, almost all history, human culture, people carried like lethal weapons with them because they're always having to protect themselves. And we feel so safe that we were like, oh, we don't need that kind of stuff. So I love how in your face it is. It's like, oh, they're always on the verge of extinction or war or death. And I like that reminder. And I like how it looks on the vlog. What tour guide did you use? I'm gonna post all that information below because it's kind of boring. But I would say the tour guide is very important. There's a lot of tours that are crap and they're just trying to sell you stuff. They might not have the same faith that you do. So we went solely based on the recommendation of this tour guide, and I think that will make or break an experience. I don't recommend people just go. It could be probably not a good trip. That kind of piggybacks on Shelly Renee 33's question. Do you feel a tour is the best way to go, or do you wish it would have been all on your own? We've done both. We've spent a month in Israel just on our own. I would probably recommend a tour if it's the right tour, if it's your first time.
E. McIntyre Brandt asks, I'm curious what your experience was like, the Palestinian Israeli conflict, and how your faith affects your views, opinions on this. Can the secular state of Israel and their oppressive politics, illegal settlements, human rights abuses, etc., be separated from rich Jewish history and Jesus' call to love one's neighbor?
The disclaimer is the political side of Israel is the least interesting, and I'm the least educated about anything there. So I'll just share with you some impressions I have. I think they can be separated. In fact, I think they have to be separated. I believe that God chose a specific family line to give this land to. That's what it says in the Bible. I believe that plan hasn't changed. I don't think that makes the Jewish people any better than any other race or more deserving or anything like that. But I also think that if you're just informed by the Western news in America, that you're probably misinformed about what's actually going on over there. So what little delving I have done into understanding the refugee camps and the Palestinian situations, there's a lot of misguided sympathy for that land, in my opinion.
A.L. McCartney 10, also known as Annie, asks, what did Dove and Eden think was the most beneficial part of the trip?
Dove said that her favorite part was the explanation, the true explanation of the Song of Solomon.
Yeah.
Or Song of Songs. She's not here to explain that.
Yeah.
What did Eden say?
I don't know.
You can ask them though, because you live on our block.
Jill Kirsten asks, what were the best and worst moments of the trip for each of you?
The best moment for me was our Shabbat dinner with the family, that's some friends of ours. And then the next day, I went to the Western Wall and spent an hour or two reading and writing, like just at the base of the wall with my hand on the wall. It was really special for me, especially after the trip.
For me, my best was also having dinner with that family. That was super encouraging. And also a teaching that our tour guide did. He, on like the last day, like blew me away. And then the worst part was probably getting sick.
The worst part for me is you're driving around in a bumpy van for like 2 weeks. And I hate driving in cars. I hate like car sickness stuff. And it's just like turbulent. So that's kind of a downer on the experience, but it's just one of those things you gotta do. We are gonna try and go see Seven's baseball game now. Seven is the one in the red hat right there.